Hello and welcome to episode 97 of the Cutie Art Crusaders for May 13th, 2014. Welcome back to our fourth episode in our main 6 countdown. My name is Rainbow Plasma. I'm the organizer and this week's host of the podcast, and today I'm joined by...
Burn to 1, special guest coordinator.
Wow.
Coordinator is hard. And also the editor for this week.
My name is Flutterguy317, and I'm the media manager / coordinator for the podcast.
I'm Matt Muspark, and I'm not leaving a 5-minute gap this week, and I do the DeviantArts and the questions.
Yay! Sorry for making fun of you.
I appreciate that, Muspark. That is very considerate of you. Although, looking back on the audio last week, it actually wasn't that big of a gap, so I think I was a bit crazy there. But yeah, I'm always a bit crazy. Speaking of crazy...
Crazy!
Speaking of crazy.
Crazy?
Today's been a little bit crazy, hasn't it?
Yeah.
With all of this organization.
So, I got home from work today at like 5 o'clock Eastern time, and I go on the computer to look at DeviantArt to go search for art for this episode, and DeviantArt's down. And it's still down for me. They use like load bearings or load distributing servers and stuff, and so I think the server that's closest to me is completely down and like dead. So I still can't access DeviantArt unless I go through proxy. So yeah.
So this episode is brought to you by DeviantArt. Sometimes we're down and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. Luckily, you guys were all able to access it, so we did get the art situation sorted out.
Of course we did. We wouldn't just be standing around here talking for an hour.
I
Then it would
mean,
be a normal podcast.
You know, we can.
Yeah. Well, it was definitely a weird experience coming back from my job and seeing nothing had been done, and I was like, ah. but we got it done.
It wasn't my fault.
Yeah. Speaking of jobs, you got a new job.
You
started a new job.
No, what I was talking about last week. I started the job that on Monday, and I don't know. It's basically. The only thing that I have to say about it is that it's like exhausting to work for 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
Just like it's a computer science job, so like it's not physically exhausting. You know, I'm not like lugging things like my old part-time jobs. But I don't know, it's mentally exhausting. You have to like think and use your brain for 8 hours a day. And I'm surprised at how tired I am at the end of the day. But I get a second wind for the podcast. Second wind.
Yay. So speaking of podcasts.
We're gonna talk about the third talking point someone put in there. We're gonna talk about butt.
Butts.
We're gonna talk about the person who put butt in the Google Doc.
Joel.
Did Bernd put butt? Bernd, were you saying butt because you have something else to say?
No,
but okay.
I didn't even know that's there, and I don't know why you keep saying butt. But
Butt's a funny word.
I had something kind of funny happen to me recently that I guess I could talk about.
Okay.
It was something that's actually Agamemnensar's fault. Agamemnensar. Yeah.
Are you bragging about art being done of you again?
Yes, but it's funny because he made an art piece of me with Octavia, and as like a little like shipping thing to be cute. And Octavia kind of like represents like him in a way. It's kind of like his little OC or whatever. Like he draws himself as Octavia. Anyway, it became kind of this thing, and then now like there's just people on like Tumblr and stuff who are like shipping me with Octavia, and it's become like this weird shipping thing where it's like now it's like Bernd and Octavia are like this one true pair or something.
I mean, because Agamemnensar's got like a bunch of friends who was like, I thought this was cute, so I was gonna draw it too.
So there was a really adorable like Twitter piece of like me and Octavia, and then I wasn't. I don't know. It's not the usual kind of, I don't know, fan art that I get. It's different. It's out of the norm.
I mean, to be fair, like artistically speaking, color-wise and stuff, you and Octavia go pretty well together. So
Brent gets all the Phillies.
Yeah.
But isn't Octavia Rainbow Plasma's favorite pony?
It's not my favorite pony, but she was my secret favorite pony.
Right.
She was the favorite pony that no one knew that I liked.
Okay. Well, speaking of favorite
of pony, yeah.
But now everyone knows.
So
my secret's out.
So today's episode is wow.
Would you like me to try that?
Yeah,
again?
you try that.
Yeah. So today is part 4 of our main 6 countdown to episode 100. So we've only got a couple more weeks to go. We're already halfway there, and we're about to plow right past that. And as usual, this week we are talking about a main 6 character, Pinkie Pie in particular,
Ponk.
or as Atmos Bark likes to say, Ponk Pony.
Ponka Pony.
And again, as is tradition, for all of our main 6 countdown episodes, we've got a special guest that's coming on today. But in fact, we've got something extra special because we've got 2 special guests today that we thought we would bring into your lives. So first and foremost, we're gonna bring on our first guest, which is Yila Wolf. So say hi to everyone.
Hello.
She's a bit shy, but Yila Wolf, Yila Wolf is one of our oldest and most dedicated fan. Can you tell us a little bit about your kind of journey with the Cutie Art Crusaders?
Well, a lot of it's already been said multiple times because I was just watching different videos one day and saw the Children of the Night animatic, and off to the side I saw the CC episode where you guys were interviewing them, and that's where it began.
Bam. Yeah, you were on pretty early. Like that was what, episode 3?
Yeah.
Well, I actually that wasn't the first episode I saw. I ended up the first one I actually watched in the stream was the Crystal Empire one. Actually.
Really?
Which was still a long time ago.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, we did that one right around the beginning of season 3?
Yeah, I think so.
Something like that. I don't know. My memory, it's been too long. It's almost been 2 years. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, Yila Wolf has always been around very early on, and she was always this really outspoken member of the Cutie Art Crusaders, especially in the chat. So you've been awesome to us for the last almost 2 years. So we've also got a second special guest on today.
Is it me?
And that is Mr. Smooth Sailing Pony, another very outspoken member of our chat.
Hello.
Yay.
So Smooth, you have followed kind of a similar path to Yila Wolf, right?
Sort of. Was subscribed to Everfree Network or radio or whatever the YouTube channel is called on YouTube. Eventually, I saw episodes 1 and 2 of Cutie Art Crusaders uploaded. An art show, I have time. And since then, it's been like one of the only shows on Everfree Network that I actually watched. Don't tell anyone.
That's all right. That's all right. Everybody has their own preferences. But yeah, you guys are both around super early. And one of the things that really stood out to us was that you guys were around super early in the chat during the live streams.
Yay!
Yeah, and you guys always showed up and talked to us and stuff, and it's nice because I'm usually in the chat every week, or at least I try to be, and it's always nice to see familiar faces and when you can connect the usernames with personalities and people and stuff like that. And we actually met both of you at Everfree Northwest last year, so that was really cool. Because we'd been talking in the live stream chat, and we got to meet face to face, so that was awesome.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah, I wanted to tell a little story about Smooth Sailing, because now I have him on live, and I can embarrass him before we get into the art, because we should soon.
Yes.
I'm a time guy. It's fine. It's good. So. Smooth Sailing Pony came up to me at Everfree Northwest because both of these two came and met us at Everfree Northwest because they're awesome people like that. And Smooth gave me something that I consider one of my most prized possessions. And I know Bernd talked about Mummified's thing last week, about how he gave you a drawing. Smooth Sailing Pony, one day during the con, came up to me and handed me a piece of paper. And that piece of paper was a little thing of fan art that he drew. And he kind of came up and said, I drew this and it was stupid, but whatever, I wanted you to have it. And I didn't really realize at the time, it didn't really sink in. But as I was packing my stuff up to go from Everfree Northwest back home, it kind of like hit me like what that really meant. Like someone walked up to me and gave me like a physical thing, being like, "This is of you. I made this for you," you know. And ever since then, it's come with me everywhere I go, and it's part of my little pony collection that I keep on my desk now. So thank you very much. I have the feeling I didn't properly express to you how awesome that was at the time. So let me express it to you now by saying that was super awesome.
It never doesn't get special.
Yeah. So yeah, these two have led to some pretty awesome moments for us. They encouraged us right from the beginning, and now we're here.
Yep. Also, did we mention that Yellow Wolf was also one of the most how do I word this? I don't even know a good word, but one of the people who always made ridiculous fan art of us when we would request it on the show and stuff.
Yeah.
Notorious is a good word.
Yes.
One of the most notorious fan artists for
Notorious
making
fans.
goofy pictures of us, like what is it? Atmospark is a penguin.
Yes.
Me in a cage on multiple occasions.
Oh,
In
many
fact,
occasions.
at Everfree Northwest, you even gifted me with an actual cage on a necklace, which I still
Don't
have.
pay for that,
Oh, you're both.
which a
you're
lot
both
of
pretty
people
cheeky.
overlook.
Yeah, it's whatever.
Yeah.
It was your idea.
It's true.
Hoisting blame.
Exactly. You gotta
Yeah.
pawn off that blame. So speaking of pawning off blame, it is my fault why we're behind on time. So let's get to the art,
Yay!
shall we?
So the theme for this week, as previously mentioned, is the pink pony, Pinkie Pie. And so we'll jump right in. So our first piece is called "Anything for You, Madame Laflower" by Karzani, and we have brought this piece up before on the show, but we haven't featured it and really given it the full go-through art thing that we do. So
Because this was Joel's. This is Atmospark's. this is Atmospark's piece in our beginning of 2014, where we said we wanted to feature this at some point. This was his piece.
yeah. So we're gonna jump right in. So Yellow Wolf and Smooth Sailing. Do you guys want to kind of give us your initial impressions of the piece, maybe a little bit in depth or whatever?
I find it really cool how Pinkie and the sack of flour over there and everything that isn't the background, I suppose, is really calm colors, and then the background is,
This crazy combo.
everything's okay.
Yeah. It really matches the mood of the piece, doesn't it? Because her face isn't necessarily that crazy. You know, she's happy, but then you notice her hair and it's like, well, that's off. And then you also notice that she's giving cake to a bag of flour and you're like, well, that's off. It's almost like it's a weird situation where she shouldn't be normal, but because she's acting normal, it's even weirder.
Yeah. I think it matches the style of that scene in the show very well, because they had those like splatter patterns on the background when she was going kind of crazy with Madame Flower and Rocky and
Sir Rockington.
yes. Yeah.
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 How about you, Yellow Wolf? Did you notice anything in particular about this piece that stood out to you?
Just something that I did notice was that in most of the places it doesn't have like the darker outer lines, but then like on the back and on one of the forelegs it does, but then also on that same forearm it just has shading to show that it is different from the body.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's true.
They don't add lines everywhere, but they do have them somewhere.
Yeah.
Some places.
Yeah, Karzani likes to do that. He likes to, I think it's a he.
He
likes to play with the outlines quite a bit, and it is kind of interesting because in certain places, like where you expect shading, there is an outline, and where you don't expect the shading, there's no outline. So it's an interesting style, for sure.
He's very sparing with his outlines. It's never a huge it's never a huge part of his pieces. It's always like here or there, like she was mentioning. it's in very specific places.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like on Pinkie's back and in her mane and stuff like that.
Yeah. Because outlines can separate from outlines cause separation between the two things that the outline is touching, but sometimes that's not necessary. And I think a lot of the times Karzani looks at it and says, "Well, if it's not necessary, then maybe we shouldn't do it."
Yeah. Well, it gives it definitely an interesting kind of choice in shading style, because there is kind of a soft shading, especially on Pinkie's body and on Madame Lefleur, and a little bit in her hair and stuff. But there is also a bit more of a harder shading, like in the underneath of Pinkie's hair, and like the lines within her mane, and the outlines where there are some. So it's definitely an interesting touch to it. It's a very, I want to say, painterly style. I think, Bern, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
No, that's fine.
Okay. Yeah. Just gonna go back to the whole background versus the foreground. I do like this juxtaposition of like crazy colors and splotches and stuff like that versus like very calm, cool, collected. Because it does kind of give to that scene in the show, and I liked how they used it in the show, and I think Karzani takes that and like does it one step further. Pinkie's expression, I think you mentioned that earlier, is a little off to me, at least. Like her smile is a little bit too large and her eyes are a little bit too wide, and so it gives it that kind of creepy, like not quite all there look. So it's not like super normal, but the background really just gives it this like she's tweaking out kind of thing.
Well, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, that's Karzani's done a really good job of showing someone who hasn't even seen the show that in this scene, this pony was insane. She was giving cake. She's giving cake to a bag of flour with a party hat on it. Like,
Yeah.
that plus those crazy colors in the background, like the calm, sort of muted green, gives that sense of sort of calming, but the paint splodges. Like there's the splodges and just her expression. She's like the vacant, "What am I doing here?" expression. Like it's just she's crazy, and I love it. This is still one of my wallpapers in my wallpaper collection because I love this piece.
Yeah.
Well, Atmospark, have you seen, or I guess this is an open question, but has everyone else seen the alternative background piece? I just linked it
I
for everyone
have.
to see. And it's funny. I'd like to hear from Yellow Wolf and Smooth Sailing to see how the difference in the background might perhaps change their difference in perception of it. So can you guys, maybe we'll start with the Yellow Wolf. What do you notice the difference between the two?
Well, like in the one it has now, it's like that crazy one, but then in the other one, it's just like the normal background of like the room.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy how much that changes the entire piece, doesn't it?
It also changes the way that the colors work on the characters.
Interesting.
Like,
think
because in the one that's the room, there's all these other kind of oranges and pinkish like related colors, and so it kind of doesn't make like Pinkie herself stand out a lot much.
Right.
Yeah, it looks like Karzani actually tinted Pinkie Pie as well and kind of changed her to fit the ambient color of the room.
Yeah, because her hair is a bit more orange than pink.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it didn't fit quite as well, so it's just slight adjustments.
Her entire body's like more orange, more yellow.
But again, it's meant to kind of blend more with the surroundings in this the second piece versus the first piece is really meant to make her pop because she's insane. So,
well, that alternate wallpaper versus the one that was actually uploaded to as the one that we've got there. You can tell why she's put in that, or he's put in that crazy background, because it makes her look crazy. In the other one, she looks kind of, well, I'm just gonna give this piece of cake to this bag of flour.
yeah.
And then maybe it'll eat it. The other one's like, you are a person, have some cake.
Yeah.
I really want to make a GIF out of this and Photoshop Pinkie Pie in the crazy piece to be like twitching, like her eyes twitching, and then Photoshop it to be like she was holding the cake to the flower, and then we're like, "Gah!" and like twitch over to the green. Because I'm pretty sure that actually happened in the episode when she was like, "Here you go," like random table character of inanimate object, and like,
Yeah. almost like Vietnam flashbacks.
Yeah.
Serious PTSD for Pinkie Pie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pinkie's traumatic stress disorder?
PTSD. Yeah.
PPSD.
Yeah.
Pinkie Pie stress disorder.
Yeah. So, Smooth, your thoughts between these two pieces, and then we'll move on to the next piece of art.
Admo pretty much said what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Bam!
Hey,
first time ever.
first time
Adam's
ever.
part stolen someone else's point. Beautiful. Well, we'll give you first dibs on the next one then.
Yep. So, our next piece is called Secrets and Lies by Lapidity. I think I got that right.
Lapidity.
And once again, we're featuring Pinkamena. So, Smooth, go ahead, take it away.
Well, her right side is just, calm-ish in comparison to her left side. That eye certainly,
It's
that,
kind of creepy.
her eyes are dripping.
Yeah.
Well, it's an interesting kind of it's almost like if you split the piece in half down the middle, you got those two different sides to it. There was a really popular kind of like meme-ish piece that was going around where it showed like the one side and it was all normal and it said happy things, and then it had the other side and it was like all like it was like all of a sudden it was really sad or intense things. Yeah. I'm not sure if you guys have seen that kind of meme piece before.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was really popular with ponies for a while. This is kind of like that, except less meme and more like thought about it, and like the line is kind of invisible. And it's almost like the left side is what you see of her outside, and the right side is more descriptive of how she feels on the inside.
Yeah, exactly that.
Emotion.
That's exactly what I get out of this as well.
Yeah.
It's so deep. It hits me right here in the heart. Right there in the visible heart.
In the missing heart.
The place where my heart used to be.
Yeah. So, Yala, do you have anything you want to add?
No, it's just like she does look like she's both crying and dripping, like her eye. And also,
Yeah.
the way her mane goes, the long end is on the same side as both the heart and the dripping eye. So it's like everything is on that one side.
Right. It's a lot heavier on the right side, even for hair. It's really interesting if you block out the right side of the piece, just take the halves individually, you can kind of see like two different pieces entirely. It's really cool, the separation.
Yeah, it's interesting too because the lighting in the piece, it's ever so subtle, but on her right side where you don't see the eye dripping and stuff like that, it's quite a bit lighter than the other side. So you get that kind of juxtaposition there too. Yeah, it's a really cool concept for a piece where you get like this split and you see her inner emotions and the outer not so emotions, and yeah. I really sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say there's definitely that kind of discerning sense with like obviously like the dripping eye and then like the whites of her eye and all the like interesting things going on with her eye on our right hand side, her left. But I think what makes it interesting is just like the colors around it, like how the majority of her right side or her left side is like the pink of her hair, and then like you said, it's more light on her right hand side because of the light hitting the top of her head, and like there's no hair there, there's no inclusion of like the bright pink color. Probably the most interesting thing for this piece and why it really hits me the way it does is because of the colors chosen, like that really bright green in the background, which I believe they incorporated in the episode when she was having her little phases.
Yeah.
It was the same for our last piece, where it was like that bright green was really the complement to the bright pink that Pinkie Pie is. So there's a lot of interesting color choices going on in this piece of colors interacting with each other, like the pink hitting the violet around it, or in the blue of her eye, like hitting the pink and the violet, because she's kind of like a dark violet, and then just like the really bright green around everything.
Yeah. I like that you brought up the fact that the green and the pink are kind of complements of each other, because I think whoever did that scene in the show did a really good job of choosing the colors, because it really makes her pop out and look insane, because she is. in that
The
scene.
show always does a really good job of, choosing kind of creative colors and colors that go really well together. I mean, you kind of have to when your entire show is basically just bright, colorful pastel things.
Yeah.
That your color choices really have to be good, or like the visual pleasing aspect of of the cartoon itself won't actually be good.
Yeah. I think one of the things that really gets me about this one, and it's one of the reasons why it's one of my favorites, is that it's kind of interesting on a lot of layers. In a composition way, that kind of split is really interesting. In a color theory kind of way, it's really interesting, and from an emotional side as well, it's got that it's got really connecting threads there. So there's all of these different things that I think appeal to each one of us in a different way, but they're all done really well.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that. I really like that about it, because a lot of the sometimes we often disagree about which art should go on the show, and a lot of times it's because we each look for something different, and so occasionally there's something like this that kind of ties all that all together, and we all look at this one and we go, yeah, this one's good for all of us, or for the majority of us at least.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Another
Burns likes
cool-
the motion. Burns likes the colors.
It's true.
Ted thinks it's pretty.
Yep.
Another cool thing about this one is that you've got that little strand of hair coming down between her face. It sort of like gives you the split between the middle. It looks sort of kind of like she's cracking in two.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I could definitely see that. I didn't see it at first, but I could totally. Yeah, it's kind of helping with that explicit split between the two sides.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and that's something that
Implicit
again has been done really well.
Yeah. It's a small things. It's very evident when a good artist is putting some time into it, because you won't notice it until you really dig for it, and then you go, wow, there's a lot more to this than I could ever have thought.
It's like, I honestly think it's a really interesting digital painting. Like, if I were to see this, even if the subject matter wasn't ponies and it was just something else that was like relatable to, or like subject matter, whatever, like these color choices, like the skill in which it was painted, it would still be incredibly interesting, like regardless of subject matter.
Yeah, definitely. We touched on the whole dripping pony / colors dripping last week in the Rainbow Dash episode, because Rainbow Dash was really good at that because she is all color. But I think that who did this, Lapidity, did a really fantastic job with the eye in this piece, because it's kind of like a slow drip. Like her iris is still there, and it's not like going away, or the colors aren't fading from it itself, but like the actual, like if you look at her iris, the different shades of the gradient of her iris are dripping into each other, and it's like her eye white is also dripping into or fading into her skin and stuff like that, and it really gives it this like more of an emotional sense to the whole piece, rather than like a realistic kind of sense.
Yeah.
It's incredibly cool.
It's awesome and I love it. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good. I like it so much.
I like how the side of her eye is like kind of dripping. It kind of resembles mascara almost, like when you cry and like your mascara.
Yeah.
I don't know if that happens to you guys, but it happens to me all the time. Mascara kind of smears on the side of your eye.
Mascara stories, apparently. No, go on. Dig yourself this hole.
But no, it really reminds me of that,
Right,
Kind of
it's
smeared
a bit of a
mascara
pain.
and crying.
And it's a combination between the mascara-esque thing, and then you've got like the eye dripping, which could be tears, but then you have like the white and the pink dripping, and you're like, wait, no, that's actually her entire like face is dripping.
Well, it's interesting because like it reminds you of mascara dripping from crying, but to me it looks like it's actually her eye.
Oh yeah, it's not mascara.
Like so
it's her actual eye. It just tricks you at the beginning.
So sorry for the creepiness, but yeah. All right, so we're gonna move on to our next piece, which is a lot more fun and upbeat and not so Pinkie
Yeah, we got through our Pinkie
Yeah.
pieces.
Sorry for that roller coaster there. Our next piece is called "Smile" by New Cake.
Cake.
Yay! Cake.
Yeah.
So, Yila, Smooth, you guys want to talk
Yeah,
about
eye
this?
candy.
Yila, oh, for God's sakes. Yila gets first dibs on this one.
Yeah.
Because Smooth got the last one. So go ahead.
color. And also, Pinkie needs to get out of there. That is way too much sugar for her.
Nonsense.
She lives on sugar.
Yeah.
I feel like she would just look at you and be like, "You're crazy."
Like,
You don't have to tell me anything.
if you look,
Can't tell me what to do.
I can stop whenever I want.
like,
You see how much
Somebody's
rock
got to
candy
eat
I
all
have?
this candy. I'm doing you guys a favor.
like you can see the dots, which I'm guessing are like, I don't know, gumballs or whatever in the back, and then like in her
Yeah.
maiden or her body, you see kind of like it looks like the thing like that, but they're
Like in her.
yeah, it looks
Yeah.
like she's made of like Jello,
Yeah, that's a great point. She does look like she's made of Jello.
Uh-huh.
or at least her. Well, no, her like it looks like that on her ear and head too, but then it's like it gets to her actual face and she looks more solid.
Yeah. I think
that's
my
that's cool.
headcanon for this piece is that she ate too much sugar and became gelatin.
She's actually Jello now.
Yeah.
and that look in her eyes is actually save me from my prison. No, happy. We're on the happy side of this
happy.
episode. We're on the happy side.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I think
Sorry.
she's
Smooth,
finally
smooth.
discovered
Can you-
her secret
smooth.
her secret power, and she's finally become Candy.
Unlocked your final form.
Yeah.
Smooth. For the love of God, take us out of the sad and into the happy.
There's so many colors everywhere.
Yay.
Such color.
Oh my
Wow.
goodness.
Yeah.
It's pretty much every color, yeah.
I just want to count all of the different kinds of colors in this piece. One, two, too many. Way too many.
We're gonna be here for a while.
I don't know.
3, 4, 5 rainbow.
Oh, that's not how accounting show.
There are several different rainbows. Which one are you talking about?
Yeah, really.
The plasma one.
You're so funny. You're so funny. I want to die.
Oh.
Oh, it's supposed to
That's
take
what it
us
is.
out of the sad.
Yeah, come on, Plasma, bring this back in. So,
Dragging
what's
down
interesting
my
about
sad
this
level.
piece that I find interesting, at least, is that it is a watercolor piece.
It is
which
a
is
watercolor
really
piece.
cool. And there's also some waterproof red ink used on it for the, I'm assuming, the ribbon in the front and possibly some other parts to the piece. So it's kind of a neat combination of mediums and whatnot.
The artist really had fun with this medium. Like, I think fun is the magic word here. Like, obviously pun intended because Pinkie Pie, but I mean, there's incredible amount of colors all incorporated. I mean, it's watercolor, it's traditional. I'm assuming it's watercolor, right? Yeah, watercolor,
Yeah,
and
it
there's
is.
red ink and stuff. I mean, the artist actually physically dripped color onto Pinkie Pie. Like, that's what's going on, like on her legs and on her hair and stuff. Where he has gotten like a paintbrush, watercolor paintbrush, and like loaded up with pigment, and then like dropped it onto the paper and let it and like splatter, and then soak into the paper, and like that's really what's going on around everything. And yeah, it's
Well, I
ridiculous.
love how it looks so. It almost looks fake. Like it looks so digital because the colors are so vivid, but it's not. You know, and it stretches the traditional color spectrum to its very edge.
I think something that impresses me about this is New Cake didn't use professional watercolors. These are just like you go down to the $2 store and you buy like the tray of like the kid stuff. That's what they used for this. It's not like $60 paint per like color. It's just your $3 tray of the cakes that you just drop a bit of water in your brush and you do that.
Yeah.
That's what's made this amazing looking piece of art.
Yeah.
Well, it's not about it's not about the tool. It's about the artist, right?
Exactly. So I mean,
like
that shows what you can do with not having the best equipment.
Absolutely, and you know the best artists are going to work with what they have. One of the artists that I really enjoy, who has been on the show before, Hoshi to Dark Pen, is a fan of the show who came on. Like a year and a half ago now.
Still love you.
But yeah, no, we definitely still love your art, and but she uses GIMP, and if you would have told me that, I would have scoffed. But with what she makes, it's incredible, and it makes me really. It made me a year and a half ago really reconsider my stance on this, and you know, it really does come down to that fact of you know, that it's not the tools that make the artist.
I believe,
You know, it's the artist.
I believe Detomne also uses GIMP as well, and like he has some pretty crazy stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, this is another great example of that. You know, if you ever feel like, You're sitting somewhere and you're like, oh, if only I could have that $500 Wacom tablet, you know, and then I would be good. No, you know what? You work with what you have. You know, limitations breed the best kind of creativity.
Besides, it's the most fun to work with the $3 ones because you can buy infinite amount of them, whereas with the other ones,
And just smear
That's
them
actually
everywhere.
a really great point. Like both of those. In my actual art classes, like when we had like guest artists and guest speakers and stuff like come in and talk about like their supplies or their stuff they use, like some of the most professional and like well-known artists whose paintings sell for like thousands of dollars that came and gave speeches at my college, like some of her favorite brushes are just like crappy paintbrush, like household paintbrushes that you go buy at Home Depot or something for like $2 or $3, not the like $40 crazy artist brushes that you buy at Blick or something or some art store. And we had one guest artist come in and we did like a workshop, and what we did was we made crayon drawings. Like in my advanced level of painting class that I took, we had an entire class where we just made crayon drawings like super quickly and like super small. And like that was the concept of it, was using, you know, like cheap childlike materials, doing something fun, doing something quick to basically sketch out the major colors or, you know, areas of composition or whatever, and like of something you're looking at to create an interesting painting. And sometimes that's the best way to make like awesome looking art, is just kind of step back from that crazy professionalism and expensiveness and just draw something, you know, fun, something childish.
Yeah. Sometimes when you have all the options in front of you, it can be kind of stifling because you could do anything in the world. But when you only have a couple options, you're like, all right, well, how can I work with those?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
And then sometimes that creates the most creative like forms of
exactly, because you have to be creative in order to make something good.
Plus, with like the child watercolors, you can, like Atmos said, you can buy a ton of them and you can just like practice or just splatter paint everywhere and like come up with crazy stuff. And you know, it's, you know, it runs you $2.
You're not
or
worried
whatever.
about wasting your expensive pigment.
Yeah.
Smooth Sailing Pony apparently has moved to Australia
Yeah!
because that was Smooth Sailing was actually the one who mentioned that.
Oh. Sorry.
Real smooth there, Flutter Guy.
Apparently-
All right, I had to drop at some point. You knew it was coming.
Apparently, you gained an Australian accent in my ears.
Of course I did.
You guys had all the time.
You know, that wasn't the worst Australian accent I've ever heard.
No, this
done,
is an
Wes.
Australian accent.
Yeah, it's true.
It's true.
Just stop trying.
I'm going off
Have
the
part.
You're not Australian at all. Something that I really, really like about this piece, besides all the colors and the watercolory goodness and whatnot, is the fact that there's this white, I think it was a gel pen, probably, maybe, white outline on the top that kind of makes Pinkie look 3D and gelatinous, I guess could be the right word.
Yeah.
Because it gives her like this little bit of an accent and kind of makes her pop.
I think the term specular highlights, don't quote me, but I
Yeah,
think
there we
that's it.
go.
All the crazy
That is
specular
correct, yeah.
highlights all over on the candy and the clouds. Candy clouds. I guess those are muffins.
Yeah. It's interesting because you see that kind of touch a lot with watercolors, at least the watercolors that I've seen, is that there's usually like a gel pen or something like that will be used to add just little details, little highlights here and there, and it's a really cool touch to an already awesome medium.
Yeah, definitely.
And it was made, I just noticed this, it was made November 24th, 2011.
Yeesh.
Wow.
2011. 2.5 years ago this art piece was made. Now, the show started in 2010, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this
yeah.
this was like before or right at the beginning of season 2.
Mm-hmm.
That's a long time ago now.
Or it was the 11th day of the 24th month of the 11th year.
Ah, yes, smart.
Or if we're thinking really outside the box, the November 11th of the 24th year.
Huh.
Are you from the future?
I am from the future.
How did you know?
Did you first see us moving on to the next piece?
Or are we stuck on this one forever?
I don't know, Flutter Guy. Why don't you tell me?
So, our next piece and final piece for this evening is called Fun, Fun, Fun by Sea Maggot.
Don't
Fun.
start. Don't start. I hate all of you. Every single one of you, every single person in this call was at Everfree Northwest, and we all know how annoying that was.
I heard it was worse at
Oh, it was
BronyCon,
amazing
I
at
believe.
BronyCon.
It was great.
BronyCon was fantastic.
See,
there was
the second that Flutter Guy said it was amazing, it can go either one of two ways for me. Either he's completely right and it was the most amazing thing ever, or he's completely wrong and it was the worst thing ever for me.
So at BronyCon there was a roaming or roving gang of Pinkie Pies that basically just walked around the convention and would literally just say fun, fun, fun.
Oh my god!
The entire
When
convention.
you have 9,000 people,
I'm literally getting like an aneurysm just
when you have
thinking about it.
9,000 people at a Brony convention, and a good huge chunk of them are cosplaying, and at least 6 of them are going to be Pinkie Pie, you're going to have a lot of Pinkie Pies.
Yeah.
And it was pretty
There
great.
was also
You could almost say there will be too many Pinkie Pies.
No such thing.
was it at BronyCon that they also started the fun chant at the concert?
I don't know.
there was
Yes, I don't know.
Well, that's fine because I don't go to
I
the
don't know.
concerts anyways, so I'm good.
I think so. I don't know.
There was some like event thing that we were in, and it was like the majority of the people at the convention, and they started the whole fun cheer, and literally everyone joined in, and it was insane.
Here's a point to anyone who's going to meet me at a convention. If you ever do this while around me, I will immediately walk away from you. I'm making that guarantee right now. You can try me. Please, feel free to try me. I will ignore you for the
What we
rest
need
of the
to
day, and
do
I'm not
at
even
BronyCon
joking.
is
Okay,
find that group
I'll
of Pinkie
need-
Pies and just get them all to follow you, like chase you around. I just picture you running down the
I
con at
would pay
BronyCon,
them
all these Pinkie
to do
Pies
that.
chasing you.
Okay,
It
so
depen-
I'll
see,
need
you know
frilly
what? I
skirt, pink skirt, frilly pink hair.
Honestly, the last point before we move on to this art piece, because we should talk about it.
Yeah.
But the last point, honestly, it's all about the way that you say it, because Pinkie Pie is a very small section of the high pitched where it doesn't sound too bad, but a lot of people who are imitating it are very squeaky, and it just is like, ooh, like it's like nails on a chalkboard. So if you say it in a very nice voice, even if it's higher pitched, you know, if it's like a smooth, if it's a good voice, then I don't mind. But it's all these people who are like shrieking. These things, it didn't matter what the word was. It was just they're shrieking. It's just like, stop, please, my ears. So. There, if you come up to me and you sit and you walk up to me and you say, "Hi, Rainbow Plasma, a big fan of your show, and it's really fun to meet you," then I'll be fine. But if you
Fun
shriek
to
in my
meet
ear,
you.
then you will be abandoned.
Fun to
I
meet
have a
you.
new goal now.
Don't do
It's
it.
too
Don't do
mutual.
it.
Sweet.
It's not a joke.
Yeah.
I have dirt on you. You can't do anything to me. I'm invincible.
So anyhow, on to this art piece.
No, yeah.
So,
right.
I personally love C Maggot's various styles, and C Maggot has a lot of different styles that he or she
Let's find out. TV
has.
Genders, internet.
Internet.
So
Unknown.
it has tried. Yeah, no, C Maggot does a lot of different styles, and a lot of different styles are done really, really well. We've featured a piece called First Light for the Applejack episode, which was completely different from this Pinkie Pie piece. And in this piece, well, I'm going to tune it over to Smooth and Isla to kind of describe what's going on.
Pick one. You're so
Smooth,
mean.
Smooth, you go first, and then Isla.
There's
You
so many
go.
Pinkie Pies. All of them seem to at least have different shading because the pool gives off light, it seems. Because obviously they're in a deep dark cave with no other light source. Pool is light. And very, very yellow light for being a blue pond.
Yeah, that's it. It's weird, and it also it seems very artificial, but like you said, every single character has different lighting, and it like accounts for it being there. So like even though it looks like it's added in, technically the surroundings have been made to account for that. You know, it's weird.
Yeah. Like the ones further away from the pool are darker.
Yeah. Like the lights behind them, like it's actually there.
And and the one in the middle that's splashing around in the water is the brightest of them all.
She was the brightest Pinkie Pie. She went to Harvard.
So Yala, you wanna give us your first impressions of the piece?
They all are very simplistic, yet, like, and some of them have, like, almost the same, like, unless you look really closely, it looks like they were copied and pasted, but if you look closely, you can tell they weren't, and there are, like, no actual shadows there. So, like, the two that are in the background, they look like they're kind of painted onto the side of the hill.
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost like they were just like plopped in there and placed in this scene. I think that kind of adds to the whole goofy feel of the piece. I'm not sure how other people feel about that, but I think it adds to it.
Yeah. I like this piece because it is very simplistic, like you mentioned, but like C Maggot doesn't just kind of make a piece simplistic, and he makes a piece really good that's simplistic. So like this piece is very emotional, very happy, like in your face. Like there's a lot of Pinkie Pies, and they all have these really big smiles, and there's balloons and confetti, and it's very bright in the center. And I'm not sure where that light source is because it doesn't exactly look like it's from the pool, but you know, it's still a light source, so it's cool. But I don't know, it seems like a really, really happy, fun piece. And, you know, it is simplistic, but I like that in this piece. Especially because, like, there's a ton of Pinkie Pies.
Yeah.
C-Maggot always does it really well because he always uses, or the artist always uses really creative color choices and all that kind of thing. And on the lighting, what you could actually call it would be called, I'm trying to think of the right word. I think it's subject lighting. I think that's the term. But it's when the lighting is used to actually light what you want the character to look at, or lighting up your subject, or in this case, all the subjects, all the Pinkie Pies. So like, yes, it doesn't have an actual like intelligible source. It's not like coming from the sky. I mean, there could be a hole or whatever. So we don't know the exact location of where it is or where it's coming from, said light. But the point is that it's lighting whatever is going on in the painting or the piece of art that you want the viewer to look at. In this case, all the crazy Pinkie Pies. And like that's what it is as a thing. It is light that is lighting Pinkie Pies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's also a good color to stand out from kind of this really dark blue and violet going on in like the entirety of the cave and everything around Pinkie Pie. So you kind of have almost this kind of like tricolor of like this blue violet, and then like the obviously really light red that is pink, and then the yellow of the lighting going on, creating kind of a little triad of color.
Yeah, it's interesting because you do get this kind of separation of value from the foreground and then the midground and the background. And there's kind of this framing around the piece too, which I'm a big fan of framing. So you get the balloons and the confetti, and it kind of wraps around to these like stalagmites in the front and stuff, and kind of really brings the piece in. I like it. I really do.
Good.
Yeah,
it's good. It's got. I'm not going to talk about it too much. It's got great emotion though.
Mm-hmm.
It's good stuff. It's another one of those pieces that's got like a little bit of something for everyone.
Yeah. Especially that Pinkie Pie eating that piece of cake. The one in the background with the teeth. Yeah.
Also,
I like the one next to the yellow balloon as well, with the greater than less than eyes.
Yeah.
Also, what is that like banner supposed to be? It's like cake balloon, horse happy.
the Pinkie Pie
I
part.
think that
is
means-
horse happy.
It's actually an analogy for life. You cake until you balloon, and then you horseshoe face.
That makes so much
This
sense.
is why do we
Oh my
party to get
goodness.
riggedy wrecked, son.
Speaking of horseshoe to the face, that's what I'm doing right now.
I wonder, is that because this piece here is supposed to be where all the rejects from that paint thing go, right? There's the bit where Twilight sends them back to the pool. I wonder if the cake balloon, the horseshoe, and the face are the ones that we see, because one that gets blown up like a balloon, the one does the face thing, the one does look what I can do with my hoof. What's the cake one?
I think you're
Obviously, that
crazy.
one in the background that's like a teeth.
I think
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But before we move on, there's also little things that I wanted to point out that really show you kind of like the artist really knows what they're doing when they're making what looks like a kind of really simplistic and silly piece. And it's the little things that really make it stand out as a really good art piece. The major thing being color. I guess it's more of a big thing. But also if you look at like the ribbons spiraling in the background, when the ribbon overlaps itself, C. Maggot specifically didn't put color there. And it's like a reverse of that color. And so C. Maggot had to like go in and like paint that, or however he made the piece to make this kind of confetti look, I don't know, interesting, believable, where it's like wrapping around itself. And also something that's so ridiculously tiny that may go overlooked. If you look at the 4 balloons that are kind of in like the middle bottom rightish area in between all the Pinkie Pies, the pink, purple, and blue balloon are actually reflecting each other. The colors of each other's balloons are actually reflecting on them. And it's like little things like that may go unnoticed, you know, and all this craziness.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Cool. I just really quickly, because Rainbow Plasma just gave me 9 exclamation points.
10, actually!
10 exclamation points.
People have died from fewer exclamation points.
I really like the very simplistic style of specular lighting in this. Just little dots of white on the balloons and the eyes and Pinkie Pie. It's really cool, really simplistic. Again, awesome job, C. Maggot.
Cool story, bro.
So, Cunas!
We're gonna do that now.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to do our question first, or do you guys have any questions?
They don't have any questions.
Do you have any questions?
They didn't heed our warning from last week.
Fair enough. Okay.
Eventually, someone will ask a question.
I know.
Guys, I have a
someone
question
at some
that
stage
may
should
be
ask a
What's
question to us.
Wait,
Yes.
whoa.
Wink,
You
wink,
may
nudge, nudge.
have a question.
May have a question. I can't remember, though, however, if it was answered before.
Okay,
Go
that's
on.
okay.
Do it anyway.
It's okay.
When you're just bored lying around waiting for the next thing to do, what are your favorite pastimes?
Oh, okay. So, like, what's our favorite hobbies besides this? Of course.
Procrastination.
My favorite thing to do when not doing anything is to not do
Yep.
what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yep, I play video games. I do whatever it is that isn't school or art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like specifically, Burn. Like, what's your go-to?
Me, whatever big game I'm trying to like get better at, because like I'm always trying to improve at something, whether it be art or things like that, and oftentimes it'll be I'm trying to improve at like some game, become better at it. For a long time it was League of Legends. Right now my big thing is Counter-Strike.
So you like challenging?
Yeah, so
games,
I like
kinda.
like challenging myself and trying to become like really like better at a game, and
Skill-based almost.
exactly.
Cool.
So whether that be art or whatnot, that is usually what I do, because I'm not like super big into creating art all the time. So gaming right now is my big outlet.
Cool.
My go-to is either Kerbals. I like blow a couple Kerbals up in a rocket ship, or I will build something in Minecraft.
Yeah. I would say if I don't have anything to do, that usually means that I've run out of YouTube videos to watch.
That's another thing I do.
So I'm not going to count that as my thing. But the other thing that I do is I as a lot of people know, I keep up with hockey, and so I keep up with what's going on around the league. Desperately attempting to not cry myself to sleep over my own team.
Yeah, you talked to me for what, like 2 hours yesterday about.
It was less of a talking and more of going
rant.
insane.
Yeah.
But
you were
that's
like
not-
Pinkamena. We're not gonna bring it up though.
I'm having like Vietnam flashbacks in my head
I
right
just
now.
picture you feeding cake to a jersey.
Each gets strong, win next game.
Get the
Can
I have
I
an idea for an art piece now.
There you go. We're giving her ammo, Burn. Come
Oh
on.
boy.
You don't
Burn
have
wearing
to try
frilly
that
dresses.
hard.
There you go. Burn wearing frilly dresses.
No, but can that be our first Vine? Cutie Art Crusaders Vine?
Burn wearing a frilly dress, or me feeding a jersey a cake.
Yeah.
Yes to both.
And anyways, yeah, hockey's my go-to.
Yeah.
I like to keep up, and I've got like tons of sites that I go to that does like analysis and talking.
So I'm a big computer guy. So I will
Like
usually No, I'll usually get into like programming, or right now I'm setting up a server to use with Minecraft and like music streaming and stuff like that. So I really like to kind of expand my knowledge of computer and logical thinking and programming and stuff like that. So kind of like Burned with games, like I usually have projects that I try and better myself at, or in some aspect or whatever. So like, for instance, right now I'm setting up a Linux server, and I've used Linux for the past, 10 years or whatever, but I've never set up a server this in-depth before, so it's like, it's interesting to kind of go through and learn some new commands and stuff.
Yeah. So,
Riveting.
Atmospark and Rainbow Plasma are lazy in their spare time, and Burned and Flutterguy are attempting to be productive in their spare time.
As productive as I can with video games.
Yeah. Well, at least you're improving some skills. So, why don't we flip this question around? So, first with Yila Wolf, what do you do in your spare time when you run out of stuff to do?
Well, usually
Besides this podcast.
Yeah,
Well, I should get back into that. Well, that would be art. Lately, it's been a lot of Minecraft. I will literally just go roam around, get lost, and try to find my way back to my house.
Oh, that's cool. Like a Pathfinder. Oh, yeah, that's really cool.
No, I end up actually I don't get lost on purpose.
Oh,
just kind of wandering,
And
thinking
then
about
I'm
other stuff.
either talking to people on Skype or watching stuff online.
Yeah. When I was doing my big hockey rant to Flutterguy yesterday, so sorry about that, by the way.
yeah.
I was just jumping around on things in Minecraft. I wasn't doing anything. I was just jumping and walking around. It's amazing how it's a great thing to do with your hands while you're talking to someone.
Yeah.
And smooth sailing. Let's get back to you. You asked the question, bud. So give us your answer.
Wow,
Mine
your
is
Canadian
going-
came out there.
Mine is going to be the most anticlimactic then, because I do almost nothing at all.
Do you just sit back and relax and think about beaches?
Ponies.
Yeah.
Do you contemplate?
Contemplate life.
Yes.
Words.
Yeah, there you go.
How do words work?
It's okay, I can't word either.
None of us can word. And we have a podcast and we can't even word.
Yeah.
So you just sit around and chillax?
For the most part, my favorite thing to do is nothing.
Yeah.
You know what? I totally respect that, because when I watch my YouTube videos daily, it's to unwind and to not think about anything. So I'm on the same page as you.
Yes.
Smith, are you sure you don't practice your voices in your spare time?
Oh no,
It
when
sounds like you've practiced your Morgan Freeman voice.
Oh, we're gonna get some voices,
can
huh?
you-
We're gonna get some voices. She's
Which
calling
you
you out
can-
now.
Which
Wait,
you now
can
have
you-
to demonstrate.
Can you do the plugs in your Morgan Freeman voice?
Oh, genius! 'Cause we have to do plugs. So,
By the way, Morgan Freeman does not endorse this podcast.
well, you know what? You can choose whatever voices you want for the plugs. But why don't you? You've been called out now. Why don't you do our plugs for us?
Okay. You can find us on DeviantArt at cutieartcrusaders.deviantart.com. You can find us on Twitter at @CutieArtCrusade. We have a Facebook page, Cutie Art Crusaders, and oh crap, what was the other one? The Gmail.
Gmail.
I forgot the Gmail.
You can't forget the G.
Come on, Morgan.
cutieartcrusaders at gmail.com.
Yeah.
That's gonna sound
that's
amazing with
awesome.
compression.
That's really
That's
cool.
gonna sound great with compression.
Yeah.
And new starting today, Cutie Art Crusaders on Match.com.
Actually, funny story.
Funny story about Match.com. No. Funny story.
Oh, I don't know, should I go into that now?
Yes.
Do it.
Yeah,
Do
okay,
it,
well,
man.
According to the poll that we put up 2 weeks ago or something, you guys all voted for Tumblr, so starting soon, we will have cutieartcrusaders.tumblr.com.
Yep.
Right.
I think we're gonna
At the
start
moment, it's just a
episode
blank
100.
page with my face on it, so don't go there.
I'm going there.
What? That sounds like the best page.
Right? Best page on the internet, atmospark.com.
Yeah. Now we're gonna have to register that domain name first. So we listened to you guys. You guys wanted Tumblr. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna use it like we do Twitter or Facebook. So we're just gonna use it to update you guys when we're going live and when the podcast is and stuff like that. And you can interact with us there. But yeah, we're gonna have that. We're gonna set it up slowly over time. Make sure it's all designed and ready to go, and then we'll let you guys know when it's all launched and ready to be actually put into action.
Mm-hmm.
But it's on the way.
Yep.
On the way.
Yep.
So this just in. Cutie Art Crusaders Tumblr. Eventually.
We might start doing some vines too, but that's maybe. That's more of that's the long term. Yeah.
Well, it's just a fun thing.
Let's start with Tumblr.
Yeah.
If we do a Tumblr, I want to post art on it now, like interesting art I find on Tumblr, because I don't browse Tumblr, you know.
Well, now you're gonna have to make your own Tumblr, and then you get sucked in.
Someone just made fan art of me on Tumblr. I could tumble that.
Reblog.
Wait, do you tumble things?
I don't know.
No, it's reblog. You don't.
It's reblogs.
No, I'm gonna retumble. Forget you guys. I'm gonna Tumblr so hard.
These clothes will get dry someday.
But it won't. Our Tumblr won't be a place where we're gonna post a bunch of different stuff. It's gonna mostly be a place where we give you guys
I'm
updates,
gonna post so much
like
stuff.
the Twitter or the Facebook, so you guys can keep track of when our episodes are going.
Nope.
out.
Unless I get a hold of it. Then it's going to be a whole mess of stuff.
No.
No.
But you already have a
anyway.
hold on it.
Anyhow.
Anyways. All right, so that is everything for
I
this
have
week.
one thing.
What do you have? What do you possibly have?
We are not doing a spoiler cast after this episode.
Right.
Because a lot of us are not going to be here when the episode airs / on the day that episode airs. So we're delaying it for a week, but we're going to do a super special spoiler cast for the finale next week following the episode. So come back and listen to it then.
Yeah. We just wanted to make sure that everyone could get their opinions in. I'm going to be away. Flutterguy's going to be away, and it's just bad timing overall.
Yeah.
So, but we'll catch you guys on the flip side next week.
Yep.
And the week after.
One final thing. Episode 100 is coming up in 3 weeks.
Absolutely.
Send in your answers to the 2 questions. What have you learned from the podcast, and what did you enjoy about the podcast? To cutieartcrusaders@gmail.com.
We need more.
Yep.
Send us in more. You can be on the show.
Yep.
We would love to hear from you the different things that you would love, because art is so different for everyone that we'd love to hear how it's spoken.
I would love to hear you.
Well, it doesn't have to be he. You could either send in text or voice.
voice.
Can I be on the show?
If you send in voice,
You can if you could send in something.
Do it.
I have to say that if a Sassy Monkey's sending in, he has to sing it again.
yes, Sassy Monkey, sing for me.
Do it, Assassin Monkey. Do
Do it
it.
because I love you.
Do it.
Yes. All right. 5 people are gonna get that joke. Okay, so that's everything for this week then, now that we've gotten through all of that jazz. So I hope that wasn't too confusing there at the end. But first and foremost, I'd like to thank our 2 special guests, the Yellow Wolf and Smooth Sailing Pony. Thank you guys so much for coming on.
Not a problem.
Thank you for being special.
Thanks
Yes.
for letting us on.
Yeah, no, it was great having you. Is there anywhere that we should follow? We should direct people so that they can talk to you further.
Yellowwolf and Smooth Sailing 1000yearsforever.com. Because they're awesome.
OTP. No.
Whoa!
I'm already
On
in a
show
relationship with
shipping.
someone, so
Whoa.
Oh, awkward.
So okay, let's
backtrack
Yellow Wolf.
there.
Where can people find you on your DeviantArt?
yeah, my DeviantArt. I do have a Tumblr and I have a Twitter.
Oh snap, she's everywhere.
Wow.
And
How about
it's
you,
the same
Smooth?
name for everything.
Fair enough.
I love
How
wolf.
about you, Smooth?
Just Smooth Sailing Pony on DeviantArt.
Cool. So if you guys want to talk with these cool cats there, then there you go. There's the shout out. So that is everything for this week. We made it through 4 out of 6. We're 2/3 of the way to episode 100.
Next week.
Except if you look at the actual episode numbers, in which case we're much more than 2/3.
Next week is Twilight Sparkle.
Twilight Sparkle. You know, I have to be honest, this is the one I'm most excited about. I'm really excited about this
me too,
episode because it's
actually.
got a couple
Sparkle.
of pieces that I adore. I adore. So
They're gonna sparkle so hard.
they're gonna sparkle.
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 Next week, a purple smart.
Purple smart. Yay.
No one
The horse.
understands
I like
that
that.
reference.
Thank you for getting that reference.
Okay.
Sparkle, sparkle.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for watching. Whether or not you guys are on the live stream or on YouTube.
love you all the same.
We love you all the same. Burned, I don't love you all the same. I love you more! All right, enough of this nonsense. We will see you guys next week. My name is Rainbow Plasma.
But it's Bird.
I'm FlutterGuy317.
Apple Spark.
Say your name.
Oh, you two are too nice. All right, Yila Wolf goes first. Ladies first.
Thanks,
I'm the Isla Wolf.
And I'm smooth sailing.
And we'll see you guys next week.
Bye. Yay.